Yeah,
like,
if you just
I
move
quit the Zens, and this is just.
I got that shit too. It's
okay.
It's
It's
okay.
not as good as the
It's not as
Zens,
good.
but it's
something to like have in your lip.
you got
I think
it.
That's what it is for me more than anything.
It's
just
that oral fixation. Yep.
100%.
Dude, I'm struggling.
Are you?
I
need to stop.
So quit Zens on the 1st. So what is today? 16.
Yeah.
16
So,
days.
Hey, that's pretty good.
There you go.
It's all here,
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
like, but it's like, dude, you don't realize that nicotine.
Yeah.
Cause I was a smoker, then I was a dipper, and then I was like nothing. And then somebody turned me on to Zens at the gym.
That was me too. I was like, they're like, all the cognitive benefits.
Yes.
And then I'm like,
they said that this is
like,
healthy,
it's
dude.
healthy. I'm
like,
gonna try
yes.
it.
I'm
And
like,
now
give me that
I am fucking
dude.
just popping them like fucking.
Found myself
Tic Tacs.
like started with the 3s, then went to the 6s, and then to the 12s,
Yeah.
and then it was like 1 can every 3 days, then 1 can every 2 days, and then shit, I just had one in always.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, because that's the
been
thing is
unfortunate.
you can have it and nobody knows.
That's
like,
right.
It's,
Yeah. Like, so smoking stunk. So that was easier quit. And then the dipping, the water bottle,
And
spitting,
yeah.
and, you knock that over once or twice in your car.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like,
Or you take a sip of it on accident.
Dude, we all done it.
Yes, we have. Fuck, it's disgusting.
And so that was a little easier, but the Zens, they taste good.
Oh yeah, I like the fruity flavors.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
'cause I'm
Nobody
like, it tastes
even
good with
know.
energy drinks.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah. Put it in like nobody would know.
Yeah,
my
for sure.
wife knows. She'd be like, what is in your lip? But most people have no idea.
Yeah, my wife doesn't.
Yeah. Well, she's like, I quit and I started these. She's like, what the hell is that? I'm like, it's just caffeine.
Yeah, exactly. You can kind of get away with it. I think.
I'll tell you
just
what,
caffeine.
be careful with those. So, because I've been dipping since I was 14, and with baseball and everything, and it's been the hardest habit I've ever had to like break. And so my ex-wife, right before our first son was born, was like, if you ever want to see your son, you need to quit dipping. I'm like, okay. Well, when I was playing baseball, one of the guys that I played with, his buddy started a company called Grinds.
Yeah.
Which is same, but just
I remember Grinds.
Coffee grinds. Well, I was doing those just as much as I was doing normal dips. So I would throw like 2 or 3 pouches in at a time, which like 1 pouch is the equivalent of like 2 cups of coffee.
Right.
And so like every time I'm throwing 3 in, I've got like 6 cups of coffee caffeine going straight into my lip. Next thing you know, I'm having anxiety attacks because I'm throwing those in all day.
Yep.
Just like I'm throwing them in just like dip, where I'm like, I'll have like 4 or 5 a day where I'm throwing in 3 at a time. I'm going through a can a day.
Dude, that's an absurd amount of caffeine.
My anxiety. Oh, I was bad. So then
vibrating.
Then to ease off of that, I started dipping again. But I would just buy pouches. I switched to pouches.
Yep.
And so I would just keep a can of the Grinds and then put the dip pouches in there.
So she didn't know.
She didn't know because it all smelled the same.
So the pouches, I could never do the actual.
Cut,
it's just shit would get everywhere.
Yeah,
like the pouches were the key.
It's clean. Yeah.
The shit be all over my shirt. I'm in the car. I'm like, fuck
you picking it out of your teeth.
Yes, yeah. And it just gets stuck in your. I'm like, the pouches were the game changer.
Yeah, because you can just kind of spit it out.
Grizzly, wintergreen, dark, man. That was my go-to.
That was the go-to.
God, it was good.
I've been on Copenhagen mint pouches for like 10 years now.
Yeah. I mean, it's terrible. And I was in dental implant sales, so I know what that shit does to you.
Yeah.
And like, I would have it in, and I would see patients.
Oh, boy.
And dude, I'd have, and doctors be like, do you have a fucking dip in? I go, yes, I do. Like, are you kidding me right now? Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. I'm trying to give you another customer.
Because then I would, you got to the point where you didn't have to spit. You could swallow that shit. But then your stomach was just destroyed because you no longer need to spit. Because you
get the heartburn.
Because the saliva doesn't build up after you do for so long. You don't really spit that much.
Right. You got to kind of like make yourself
You got
spit
it. Yeah. Gross.
Well, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks,
Anyway,
guys.
to introduce our guest today, we have Kyle Fernandez, the owner and broker of Elevate Realty. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate you having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. It was we were connected by Matt Kresko, so shout out to Matt. And
great
Matt's
guy.
a great guy.
Yes, Matt's killing it in the single family world right now.
Yeah, he is. Man, he's bought a handful of multifamilies.
Good for
too.
him. Yeah, good. That's where the money's at.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So what's your story, man? How did you get into the real estate game?
So I actually got into the business from my grandmother.
Me too.
Yeah. So a lot of people, one of my emails is Kyle the Way at Yahoo. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's pretty arrogant. I'm like, Well, my grandma's last name was Waymeyer, so it's in of honor of her,
Sure.
essentially. So I got in with her in 2001 is when I got licensed. And she was like a little 3-man show, but she taught me a ton. We kind of helped grow her brokerage to a whole 8 agents maybe. And then my current business partner, Brian Preston, we decided to branch off on our own. She was the Way Inc. We became the Way Realty. So we were the Way Realty, we called it Jokerage. I mean, we had at that time, I think 7 agents, 2 of them were our moms. So we sold enough real estate to pay our bills, drink some beer, and chase women. And that was like, looking back on it, I wouldn't change anything, but it was more of a hobby, and this is when we actually started at around 06 is when we started to be investors and we started buying real estate. So we started doing stated income, stated assets. We bought 10 homes in 2 years. So we learned that Bank of America, they had certain pockets in the city, they did estimation of value. So we knew what those estimation of values were by square footage, bedroom, bath. So let's say we bought a home for, we'll make the math simple, $80,000. So first deal we bought, I borrowed $80,000 from a buddy who trusted us. And I said, look, I just need 80 grand for about a month. I'll pay you back. So we paid 80 grand for our house. Went to Bank of America, said we need to take a home equity line of credit on this. We owe it free and clear. Bank of America says, here's the algorithm. It's worth 150. We'll give you 130 grand, right? Mm-hmm. So we made 50 grand on buying that house. So we're like, dude, we are the smartest guys ever. Yeah. So let's rinse and repeat. So we did that 10 times. And, we thought we were the smartest and the richest guys ever. We bought, Mercedes. We bought a house in Fenton with the pool. It was our party house. I wish I could say we were smart enough to see the market crash, but not necessarily the case, to be quite honest with you. Like, we bought in not the best areas. And, God, there was one time we were held up in the backyard. We got plumbing stolen. I mean, there was just always like, we're in the hood, so like, okay, we got to get out of this. And about that time, the market crashed. So I decided to go and get a corporate job. So I went into dental implant sales for 7 years. Rentals? We gave them all back to the bank. Yeah. They're all foreclosed on. Darn. Yeah. Humbling experience. I was working for an implant company and I had to file bankruptcy. And I remember going to the attorney and I had to pay a lot of money for a bank. Like you have different kind of bankruptcy attorneys. And mine was like $15,000, right? And you have some guys that charge $100, $300, whatever. And basically he said, this is your one get out of jail free card. Don't do it again. We had to wait for a certain judge. It's a very weird system. He's like, we had to wait for this judge and this prosecuting attorney. So I remember the days like, hey, the judge that we want's coming in. And I went in a suit and I think I had a nice watch on. He's like, dude, take that watch off. So we went in and it was like good old boys club. Like, hey, Johnny, hey, like they know each other. And the judge was like, all right, we're going to release you of everything. He gave me Chapter 7 bankruptcy. I mean, my credit went to shit. But it was my chance to start all over. But it sucked. I can tell you that. Sure. It was humbling. Yeah. Wow.
And so then you went into dental sales.
I was into dental implant sales, which did require travel. And luckily, my current wife, that then girlfriend, like I had to get a credit card and it was like her credit card. I was a co-signer on that credit card. So it was a humbling experience to say the least. Oh. Yeah.
And then how did you get back into real estate?
So I was doing that for about 6 years. I was with a company called Clear Choice. They're actually here in St. Louis. And then Aspen Dental decided to open up a implant center in Indianapolis. One of the guys that was opening that center knew who I was, and I actually was pretty good at dental implant sales. He's like, hey, I'd like you to become the director of sales over at Aspen Dental it's called Turning Point Dental Implant in Indianapolis. You're going to have to travel there for the initial plan was 6 months. And then we're going to open up more of these centers. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. So Brian Preston, my current business partner, I actually got him into the business as well. So we both actually traveled to Indiana. We had an apartment in Indiana, which is crazy. So it was a pretty good setup. We thought it was short term, 6 months. Well, 6 months turned into 3 years. Brian, his wife got pregnant. He had a kid. He's like, I get out of this. He came back to St. Louis, went back to our old company. And I was kind of stuck at Clear Choice for 3 years. And it sucked, dude. I drove there. I would leave my house Monday morning at 6 a.m.
Your house here.
Yeah, in St. Louis, because there's no direct flight.
Yeah.
It was easier to drive. I'd drive to Indiana. I'd stay in Indiana Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, I would come back home. Rinse and repeat, dude. It sucked. I did it for 3 years. And then my wife was turning 40. We booked a cruise, and I asked a whole bunch of people, hey, who wants to come on this cruise for my wife's 40th? The only people that committed were her parents. So it was us and her parents went on this cruise. And the first day I got smoked. I was totally sunburnt. I'm the worst Mexican ever, right? Like people like, dude, Fernandez, where's Fernandez and you, right? The whitest Fernandez ever seen. So I'm sitting at the bar. And ironically, it was an LGBT convention on this cruise, which I don't care. Like gay guys are great. You know, they're fun as hell sometimes, usually. So I was sitting next to this guy, and he was talking about real estate. And he said, what do you do? I'm like, I have my real estate license. I'm in dental implant sales. What do you do? I own a real estate brokerage in Atlanta, Georgia. Awesome. How much revenue you guys do? He's like, well, last year we did 1.2 billion. Oh. I was like, what, the B?
Whoa.
He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So I continued to see him, and we chatted throughout the cruise. And he finally was like, here's my card. If you ever want to connect, give me a call. So I remember, fast forward about 2 months, had a terrible week in Indianapolis. I came back home. I sat down at my desk, opened up, and this was God, 100%. Opened up my drawer, and his card fell out. I'm like, all right, I'm going to call him. So I call him up. I go, hey, Kevin, it's Kyle Fernandez. I don't know if you remember me. We met on a cruise. Yeah, of course I remember you. I go, man, I want to come and just pick your brain. And really, I wanted to see if he was full of shit, right? Like, everybody talks a big game on, and
couple drinks.
Yeah, you got it, right? Yeah. So like, that was kind of testing him. Like at that point, he'd be like, oh no, but he's like, dude, I'd love for you to come out. He's like, as a matter of fact, tell me when you're coming. He's like, I have a driver. My driver will come pick you up. He's like, I live at the Ritz-Carlton. So, part of the package with living at the Ritz, he's like, I can put you in a room. Like, well, do you mind if my business partner comes? He's like, sure, I'll put you both in a room. I'm like, okay, that's a good time. So 2 weeks, we jump on a plane, go out to Atlanta, exactly what he said. He's in the middle of Buckhead, beautiful office, right? Gay guy, it's decorated to the nines. It's like the best art, the best facility. I'm like, okay, this is legit. We went to lunch. And he was an open book. He's like, this is what I'm doing. This is how I do it. If you guys need anything, reach out to me. So Brian and I went after lunch. We had plans to go to dinner. So we were working out, and I was like, dude, why reinvent the wheel? Let's see if he wants to just open up a Palmer House in St. Louis. So we met up at his condo for, I think we had a glass of wine. And within 10 minutes, I'm like, look, you want to open up a Palmer House in St. Louis? He's like, let's do it. Done. We literally shook hands, had nothing on paper, and Palmer House was born. I came back home. I gave my 2 weeks, and we're going back into real estate full time. So Palmer House was born in St. Louis. So that was 10 years ago. So 16.
Yeah. Wow. And you've just been doing real estate ever since.
So and then I came back, and so I told my wife, I'm quitting my job. She's like, what are you going to do? I'm going to go back into real estate. She's like, okay, like, as long as you have a plan, that's fine. So I remember quitting my job, and I had my first appointment in Central West End, and I was driving to Central West End in the middle of traffic. I'm like, this is not what I want to do. Like, I do not want to sell real estate. Like, but I kind of like the investment side of real estate. So after I showed that property, I came back home. I go, I don't think I want to sell real estate. My wife's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, but I have a plan. I'm going to start flipping homes. She's like, oh, Jesus. Okay. But luckily, she's always trusted me. I said, I think we can build this real estate, by using the Palmer House system. We can build the brokerage, and I can do both. So she was on board. So long story short, we started building the brokerage. I met at the gym Spencer Argetta, who's now our third business partner, who was like agent number 8 that we brought in, who was amazing at systems, and she was a yes person, and like she kind of grew all of our systems or what we have today. And we, at that point in 2016, we started with 8. Fast forward 5 years, we were sitting at about 40 agents. And one of the cool things, Kevin and Spencer was, so Palmer House had 2,300 agents. She was rookie of the year, her first year in real estate. Awesome. So she killed it. Yeah. Like she's an anomaly. So every year Kevin would have like an award ceremony. There's always a big announcement. So we're in it 5 years. Everything's running smoothly. Like I said, we're sitting at about 150 million in transactions. Everything was good. COVID hit, that kind of sucked, but he brought us all in, and only leadership could come in, which was a little different. And I was like, that's COVID, and I get it. So we walk into this ceremony and it just felt different, right? So, and we had agents on camera, like Zoom. Kevin comes up and he says, he's always, his big announcement was usually brought in a new lender, brought in a new title company. Well, his big announcement was sold the company. And you guys are now HomeSmart. So Palmer House Properties became HomeSmart overnight. We're like, oh shit, what the hell does this mean for us? And within 45 minutes, we learned that there was somebody planted from HomeSmart at every one of our tables. As we're sitting there bad mouthing HomeSmart, it's like, oh, by the way, I'm HomeSmart. Like shit. So they cornered me and said, hey, we need you to come out to Arizona. We want to kind of show you our facility. So we're like, okay. So Brian and I went out there. We sat down, and within 5 minutes, they said, we own you. Like, okay. You might have bought us, but you don't own us.
Right.
And let me remind you because remember that handshake deal that we had with Kevin, that we had nothing in writing. So when we sold, we got not a dollar, not one dime. That's
rough.
Yeah. Which we weren't worth that much, on the scale of things. But
still,
it stung a little bit, but it was okay. Like looking back, it was the best thing that ever happened to us. So I remember we're sitting down with HomeSmart and the leadership, and they're like, we're going to put you guys on salary. And this is how it's going to happen. I'm like, holy shit, I'm back at corporate America and didn't even realize it. So I was like, so if I'm going to go on vacation, I need to ask you. She's like, oh yeah, you have to get, I'm like, okay. Yeah. So we're like, all right, we looked at each other like, well, we're just going to tell them what they want to hear. So we came back to St. Louis and we ran as HomeSmart for like 45 days as we kind of got our shit in place. Like, all right, we got to come up with a name. Like we built the Palmer House brand here in St. Louis. It had a little bit of an established brand. Like we're not a ton, 150 million, but enough. So I called an attorney. I said, hey, I want to keep this Palmer House brand. I know we can't be Palmer House Property and Associates, but can we be Palmer House Realty? And this attorney said, yeah, I think there's enough distinction between the two. Yes, gave us the green light. So I called Jeff City, the Missouri Real Estate Commission, said, hey, how long will it take you to process if I come down there with every license and I need to get everybody switched over to a new entity? How long that will take? It's probably going to take a couple days. I'm like, really? A couple days? Yep. Okay, that's fine. So Brian and I jumped in the car on a Monday morning. We're like, dude, we're salesmen. Let's grab some donuts. Let's grab some coffee. Let's grab some juice. Let's win them over. So we walked in with 43 licenses, our new LLC paperwork for Palmer House Realty. And and we planned on staying at least overnight. So we got there at 8 a.m. Like, here's our license. Here's donuts. Here's coffee. Thank you so much. Just call us when you're done. Take your time. At 11 o'clock, they called us. Everybody switched over. Boom, just like that. So we called HomeSmart on our way back, and it was the best call ever. Sure. Hey, it's Kyle. Just want to let you know you guys don't have a brokerage in St. Louis anymore.
You don't own us now.
You no longer own us. So they saw what the name was, Palmer House Realty. So dude, we ordered signs, website. I mean, we spent a significant amount of money, and then 30 days goes by. We're running business as normal. We get a cease and desist letter from a very large corporation, attorney corporation. So I bring it to my attorney and go, hey, dude, look,
remember what you said?
He's like, oof. He backpedaled. He's like,
Really?
well, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, this is what's going to happen. He's like, we can fight this. He's like, it's probably gonna cost you about $100,000. He's like, and it's what's going to do. We're going to buy some time. It's going to probably take you guys about 2 years to fight this. We don't know what the outcome's going to be. I'm like, so all I'm hearing is $100,000. What a colossal waste of money for a name. So I was like, you know what, forget it. We'll switch names. So we locked ourselves into an office, and that's how Elevate Realty was born.
Sweet.
Yeah, 5 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with that name?
You know, we were just sitting there, like there are certain names just kind of had a ring to it.
Sure.
And then like there's a brokerage out there. It's called Rise. I kind of like that Rise name. I'm like, I want something different, like Elevate, like it's just something rang with Elevate. So
I like it.
Yeah. And then we like the color, the blue and the white logo that Palmer House had. So we kind of incorporated that. And then we actually have a trademark for our logo, which is like a little triangle with the house. So, you know, it just, we were forced to come up with it. Names are hard to come up with.
Yeah,
they really
sure.
are. It's like people think it's easy, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean, look at our podcast,
right?
Super creative.
Yeah.
We had like a couple ideas, and we're like,
Yeah.
well, because we didn't want to pigeonhole ourselves into just real estate,
Right?
You know,
right.
we have on all sorts of people.
Yep.
I mean, we're real estate guys. That's what we do for a living. We have on plenty of real estate people, but you know, we didn't want to just like pigeonhole ourselves into that just like one real estate box.
Yeah,
We kind of wanted
smart.
to expand on everything. That way we can have on. We'll never run out of a plethora of guests, and it's always going to be interesting and different, you know? Like,
and if you look at names, none of them really make sense. Like Redfin, Zillow, like what the hell is a Redfin or Zillow or, you know? So I'm like,
you just get used to it.
You got it. Yeah. Right. So we're like, the name is important. We just want it to be like one word, like, you know, so
quick and
you got it.
Rolls off the tongue.
Yep. So that's how it was born.
Wow.
Now we have, we did 300 million last year.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's great.
I think,
How many agents you guys have?
we have 93 right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Big.
We just opened, we've been open in Illinois. We brought on a big team in Illinois, gave some small ownership to that team. And then I kind of think that's kind of our secret sauce. Getting ready to go to Seattle, opening up in Seattle, and then Florida's on the horizon.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Congratulations. Definitely a journey.
We're getting there. Yeah, it's fun, you know. And really my whole thing is like what we preach to our agents is, guys, like the industry's changing, as you guys know. Like I don't know if, you know, what I put on my magic hat, and I think 5 years in the real estate industry is going to look completely different than it is right now.
Absolutely.
So who knows, like what commissions are going to be, what the industry is going to be like. But one thing I do know is it can never take away our investment property. So what we preach to the agents in our office is, guys, hold on to your commission and buy property, because they cannot take that away. They can take away our commissions and they can take away all this and force us to do that, but they can't take away our property.
Right.
So that's really what we're trying to push is, you make your money when you buy real estate, not sell real estate.
For sure.
Well, and I think the mortgage industry is going to change as a whole too.
For sure.
You know, I've had this conversation with another younger, very successful loan officer with Guild, and you know, he thinks in 10 years we're not even going to have jobs.
I don't disagree.
And I was just like, and I was like, you know, I don't know about that. And he's like, dude, look at what they're having us do already. You know, we piloted a program, and essentially it's gonna do what we do.
AI's taking over. It's scary.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously you're gonna need some human element to it, but you know, I mean, look at First Community. They've eliminated all their loan officers.
Yep.
They just have processors and underwriters.
They also got rid of their real estate company too, because they thought it was easy, and learned real quickly it's not. Like, so what I think is going to happen is you're going to have somebody like Zillow, right? Because Zillow's pushing everything, home loans, title company. They want their own monopoly, right? So I think Zillow will make it to be like it's a transaction brokerage. They're going to bring people on a salary so they can force them, because with how Zillow is right now, we're Zillow preferred brokerage. We get we paid Zillow $1 million last year.
Oh, wow.
$1 million. But they still don't treat us like the customer, right? They treat us like we're the boss. They're the boss. And so what I think is going to happen, because they can't force 1099 employees to how they want the business to run, I think they're going to come in and say, okay, we're just going to purchase these select brokerages. We're going to put people on salary, take the average agent if you say we're going to pay you $60,000 a year and give you health care and maybe a bonus of some sort, how many agents do you think would do it? A lot.
Yeah.
Not the producers,
right.
but
not a chance.
The mediocre. None of us. Hell no.
But your agents that are doing
what's
maybe one every.
The average agent does how many deals? So the average agent would be all over that, right? And by the way, you don't have to go fishing. We're just gonna give it to you. We're gonna give it to you. All you're gonna do is you're gonna push paperwork. You're gonna make the transaction. So that's the way I foresee it going. I hope I'm wrong, but the writing's on the wall.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, we're starting to see it. I mean, banks have been doing, and credit unions have been doing that with mortgage lenders for a while, where they'll pay them a small salary, but then give them like a small bonus on top of it for every loan they close.
You got it.
And it's that's how there's these places with super cheap rates. But at the end of the day, like that person doesn't give a shit if your loan closes or not.
The level of service changes dramatically.
Look at the big lenders out there. Like there's certain lenders, you see that pre-approval, you're like, Rocket. I wasn't going to throw any names out, but since we're throwing names out, hell yeah. Dude, bottom of the pile. Yeah.
Dude, I just had to deal with them like last month. And it was just,
and that's where Zillow don't understand. And I had this talk with the Zillow, like one of their heads of the loan department. I go, let me tell you where you guys messed up. This is a relationship business, and our agents have no relationships with your lenders. If you would have came in and bought Guild or NAF, that would have made more sense because the agents have the relationships that they've been building for years. Yeah. You're coming in blind and saying, you better use Joe Smith because we're telling you to. Well, F you, I have a relationship with these guys over the past 10 years. It's a relationship business, and they forget all about that. Yeah. And that's why I think Zillow Home Loans is struggling right now, is because they took the most important piece out, which is the relationship piece. And it just blows my mind that they don't realize that.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree. And, it's, again, it's just hurting everyone.
Everybody.
Because, like, that's the thing is, like, one thing that I've always, like, I've talked to my agents about, and I'm like, listen, if you got a client that's shopping, submit their offer with all 3 pre-approvals and let the listing agent decide if they're going to accept this offer, and pick the pre-approval that they're going to accept the offer with, and then write it in the special agreements. This contract is under contract based on the pre-approval and loan going through so-and-so mortgage.
And I've talked to this lender. I've known them. I've done 10 deals with them. That goes a long way, 100%. And people don't realize that.
Whenever I have, a client pre-approved with Pat, I mean, Pat and I've probably closed at least 50 together over the last.
You feel pretty good that the deal's going to close.
I'm pretty positive.
And you can relay that to the agent on the other end. Well, I've closed 50 deals with this guy. If he says they're approved and good to go, they're approved and good to go.
And I'll call the listing agent.
That's smart.
I'm like, so when you submit the offer in the email, put me on the email. So at least I know the offer went through. Then I can see who the agent is and I can call him.
Yep.
Yeah. And that helps.
Goes a long way.
Especially in these multiple offer situations. Because, I mean, I've been seeing a lot of that.
There's a lot, especially in certain price points. My daughter's looking right now in that 400,000 price point.
I was going to say that, like 300 to 400 right now is tough. It's hot. Yeah. Because I got a guy there, that's right. They're right in the middle of that. And then, keep finding them. And then, we put a couple offers in, and it's just keep getting beat. And
they go quick. Yeah.
It's tough.
You got to get creative. And that's my daughter's yet to find. She's got one this weekend she really loves. And I'm like, I know how to get creative.
Sure.
So you really want this house,
figure out.
We'll figure it out. I'm not taking commission. So you're already ahead of the game.
For sure.
You're saving $9,000 right there.
Right.
And getting her to understand it is, it's just funny how clueless kids are. It's like kids, but she'll be 24.
Oh man. Well, hey,
just explaining the process.
House, right?
Her and her boyfriend, he's a CPA. I mean, they got 20% to put down. I'm super proud of them.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Now she won't listen to me because I'm like, look, buy a multifamily. I begged her. I actually bought her Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Dude, this was the best deal. I go, I will give you your down payment. Read this book and go. And if you buy your first 2 family, I'll give you a down payment for it. I'll manage it, and then stay there for 2 years. And then from there, you can do whatever you want.
Not even stay there for a year.
Yeah, buy another one. 2 years was kind of like just give her a little taste of
what it's like.
Yeah. No.
And maybe she'd get a, taste. Maybe like, Dad, let's buy another one. I want to buy
exactly.
another one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, what the hell do I know?
Right. Yeah.
I'm
What do
like,
you know, right?
she's like, and then when I started explaining, I go, so she's like, so what would my payment be? So I was like, so this is what your payment's going to be. I go, here's something that you're going to love. I go, so do you understand on a 30-year note, how much you're going to pay over 30 years? So if you keep the loan for the full 30 years, you're going to pay $892,000 for a loan that you're taking out for $330,000. What? Yeah. Welcome to amortized interest, my love.
Yeah. That's pretty eye-opening.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, oh my gosh. Well, I go, that's, there's Grant Cardone. I love how he talks about amortized. He's like, that's when all the banks got together and like, how do we sell the American dream? Mm-hmm. Let's come up with the amortized rate, right? Yeah. Because where is 6% in that equation? You borrow $330 and you pay back almost $900.
Yeah.
That's not 6%, right? I mean, so it's amortized. Whoever came up with amortized is brilliant.
Right.
For sure.
It's Wall Street saying, how do we sell the American dream?
Well, have you guys heard of the new strategy now with first lien HELOCs?
No.
So if you've got a house that you have enough equity in, you can do a first lien HELOC. Now you have to be very diligent with a budget, because what they have you do is they'll go in, they'll do a first lien HELOC, pay off the mortgage. And then every month, instead of your paycheck going into your bank, your paycheck gets deposited into pay off the HELOC. Now, so like, for example, say you got a $200,000 loan, say you have $3,000 a month, or say $2,000 a month in bills, and you want an extra $1,000 a month just in cash. Well, hey, you can make $10,000 a month. Your $10,000 goes to pay towards that HELOC. So now your $200,000 loan just went to $190,000. And you're going to pull they're going to pay your bills out of your HELOC, and then they're going to give you $1,000 in cash. So now your loan amount's $193,000. Next month, you get a $10,000 paycheck. Now it gets paid down to $183,000. Cool. You're going to pull $3,000 out, pay your bills for $2,000. You got $1,000 in cash. So now it goes up to $186,000, pay it down to $176,000, and it just keeps going that way. And you can essentially pay your mortgage off and have a mortgage free and clear with a $200,000 home equity line of credit that you can pull from at any given time, and have your mortgage paid off in like 3.5 years.
Wow. So what happens if you're like us and self-employed?
That's the thing, is you can pay whatever you pay.
Gotcha. So there's no, okay.
But that's the thing, is you have to be super diligent on your bills. Like this doesn't give you room for like, extra spending. Like, you can plan it into it.
I'm going to take a vacation. Yes. I need 10 grand.
Right.
Yeah.
You can plan that into it.
Interesting.
But ultimately you need to be very diligent on what your bills are. You can't just go have frivolous spending and things
that's
like
tricky.
That.
It is. Yeah. You got to,
It takes discipline.
That's tricky.
It's built for a very specific person. Yeah. But if you are that specific person, and you can do this, it's a hell of a way to get your house paid off quickly.
I don't hate it. Yeah, you have to just know it.
Right.
I was telling my daughter, I'm like, don't escrow. I think escrowing is a terrible idea. And said, you have to be disciplined, like know that taxes and insurance are going to come up at this month every year. But I think escrowing is a terrible idea. Now, most people aren't disciplined, and that's why they do have to escrow. Because as a first-time home buyer, like there is no such thing as a fixed payment if you're escrowing. Mm-hmm. And people don't understand that. Well, what do you mean? I go, taxes and insurance always go up, and they went up a shit ton this year in certain areas. And that's going to change your payment, as you know, because they probably call you.
Always.
Like, what the hell happened? My payment went up.
Check. We just did our escrow analysis in March. So people's April payments are going to be affected on this.
And it goes up significantly. When people are buying a payment, and that's what first-time home buyers are doing a lot of times, is this is my comfort zone, and that payment goes up $300. They're screwed.
Yeah. And unfortunately, unless you're putting 20% or more down, you have to. Here in Missouri, you have to escrow.
Yep.
And so, especially like on government loans and things, but like those are things that money that you could be putting aside every month into like a brokerage account or some sort of interest-bearing account that's going to make more for you. You can still pull the principal out without being taxed, but it's going to allow you to, I agree with that. I mean, I always tell people, like, if you can get away with escrowing,
you have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
When that tax bill comes, it sucks.
You got to pay.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, and that's, I mean, I will say that we've seen a dip in taxes in 2025. So that was a good thing. I most people's tax bills that I've seen haven't gone up, but
mine went up 30% this year. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where I've been seeing people get hit the hardest is insurance.
Insurance, yeah.
It is insane.
Yeah.
I had a client whose insurance, he called me. He was, it sucked. It was one of our past clients, was on his way over his honeymoon, and his insurance went up by $3,000. Oh, yeah. It was insane. More than double.
Was it a condo?
No, it's a house.
Okay.
But here's something too that I send out. So I'm a nerd when it comes to this stuff, especially because condos made a big portion of my business for a long time, up until 2024, when they implemented all those changes with insurance requirements and all that. There's going to be even more changes coming down the pipeline here come July. Basically, it's Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's way of saying, I no longer want to lend on mortgages, and they're going to make it strict as shit to get condos through. They're going to increase. There's no more limited reviews. So before you put 10% or more down, you didn't really have to dive too deep into those financials. They got rid of that now. They're going to be full reviews for everything. Ugh. And they're going to increase their budget requirements. Oh. So those HOAs are going to go through.
And so most HOAs are in a hot mess anyway.
Yeah, because the biggest thing is that it's a clause. It's called waiver of subrogation. Essentially, you've got all these unit owners. If one unit owner lights a candle and burns down the whole thing, that insurance company can't go back and sue that individual unit owner for burning down the whole thing. Well, you think that's cheap to put that kind of coverage on there? No. So now that's the whole reason this insurance has gone up. And Fannie and Freddie been wanting to push this push this stuff for years. But finally, when that big apartment or that condo complex collapsed in Florida, that was like, all right, hey, this is what we've been talking about, and this is why we're doing it. And because, ultimately you're looking at, this is a mortgage-backed security.
Right.
And so these are traded, and that's a way of collapsing like some sort of investments, these people's investments. And so to protect that, now they're just getting super strict on that. So it's like,
don't buy condos.
Don't buy condos. Yeah. If you've got a condo,
sell it now.
Yeah.
It's just going to be one of those things where you're just going to start seeing, if you're an investor.
Never made sense for me. Just because you can't, it's an uncontrollable, sure. Right? So you just don't know.
Here's the thing is, if you can go in and buy them, all this is going to do is, one, if you own it, it's going to kill the value of what you have. That appreciation is gone. And the HOA is going to go through the roof. If you can get somebody like a big time investor to go in and buy the entire thing and just turn it into apartments. That's going to be the way to do it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be able to get it for so cheap, because these home values.
Your price per door is cheaper than going and buying a Class A.
Right. For example, you got.
Not a bad idea.
You got right. You got Casabomb over here in South County. That was always like the big one, because it was always FHA insured.
Right.
It was always everything was taken care of. They're nice condos. And at one point, up until 2024, I was seeing those things get listed and sold as high as $200,000. When I got in the business, they were selling for like 125, 130. And now we're starting to see those listed at 165, 170. Okay. So those people that bought at 200 have already,
they're screwed. And
it's
the sad part is they don't have money to bring to the table your $200,000 buyer. They can't afford a special assessment of $10,000, and they can't afford to pay a deficit of $20,000, $30,000.
And also let's look at what happened. Let's look at what happened in 2022. Rates started to go up. If you bought in 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and you're sitting with a 7% interest rate on a condo, and you bought it at $200,000, and now they're at 170, you're never going to be able to refinance.
No,
ever.
No.
And the only thing that's going to happen is your HOA is going to continue to rise. Your taxes and insurance are going to continue to go up, and you're just going to go deeper and deeper in hole in these properties. I hate to sound scary.
No, it's the reality of it. Yeah.
If from the source that told me this, it was very, very reliable, and what she's heard, we should be getting that letter from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac about these changes probably in the next 30 days.
Wow. That's a game changer.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, yeah,
glad I had one condo that I sold last year as an investment. It was my last one. So I'm glad I got rid of it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like they never, if you're buying condos as rentals, most HOAs don't even allow it, or they only allow a certain percentage.
Yeah.
And like Brentwood Forest, for example. Like I know that one's like, that's got like a multiple year waiting list on the.
So there's a workaround. Like you could do a lease purchase and just kind of throw the purchase option out the window. So there is always a workaround because I had the same issue.
Okay.
Well, call me and I'll teach you the workaround.
Right. Speaking of Brentwood Forest, I mean, they were going to go in and condemn that place.
Yes.
Really?
Because you can't do conventional financing in there because of the deferred maintenance on most of the buildings.
Yeah.
Foundation issues and deck issues and things like that.
Big ticket items.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So
the electric, I think, was another in there. Big issue. Yeah.
That and the thing too that people that don't realize it is when a special assessment is assessed on those properties, that doesn't transfer when you sell. You have to pay that off at closing. You can't transfer the special assessment. You got to pay that. If you got a $15,000 special assessment that was supposed to be paid over 20 years, that's not transferring to the new buyer. You got to pay that all off at once when you go to sell your house. So they're cutting even more into what.
Yeah, it's a bad deal.
Condos. It's going to be ugly.
Wow, well, that's good to know. I'll make sure I bring that up at the next meeting.
I got clients that'll call me like, "Oh, I'm looking at condos." Nope.
Nope.
Yeah. Do not do it.
Yep. Unless you're paying cash and then maybe a second resident. But
even then, you're going to be. Eventually,
I don't love it.
Underwater.
Yeah. My parents just bought one and I tried talking them out of it. They have a place in Florida and they wanted, usually they would come and just stay with us. I'm like, it's fine, but they like having their own place. I'm like, I wouldn't buy a condo, but again, what the hell do I know?
Yeah. It's only what I do for a living.
It's,
Well,
whatever.
Luckily, them being in Florida, at least if they have another place that they can go, at least they can
do.
Airbnb
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole different animal. The whole Airbnb. Like we had two in Soulard.
Really?
And like the first one we did, we're killing it. Decided, well, okay, let's buy another one. And then within 6 months, we got the tax bill for the first one. And this is like a $400,000 house in the middle of Soulard. Dude, our taxes went from, it was already high, $6,000 to $18,000.
What?
Taxes is commercial property.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So not only when, you know how Airbnbs work, like, when a guest they pay a tax and then you pay a tax. So there's two tax there. Now the government's going to tax us as commercial properties. The hotel's lobbying against it. So yeah, we're like, well, the government's making more than us now on these. We're out.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Brutal.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't believe it. And like, what do you do?
So did you end up selling them?
We sold them. Yeah.
Is there any way that you can fight it to get it rezoned residential, or are you having to like?
It's not an animal, and to be quite honest with you, they're starting to become a headache. Yeah. It's like having a hotel. Every 3 days your turn. It's like turning a full unit. You can have the best cleaning people, and people suck.
Yeah, I do midterm rentals.
Okay, midterm's the way to go.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
I do have two of them, and I've had them for almost 3 years now, and it's been great.
Good.
And I've gotten really lucky with one of my properties. It was actually my wife and I's old house, and we got lucky we had one person stay for about 3 months after we moved out, but then our next person ended up staying there for a year and 9 months.
Awesome.
And paying that.
Was it a nurse?
No, it was actually someone who moved here because her mom was sick, and so she stayed with her mom, like helping out, and then mom ended up passing away. And then like, well, we live on the East Coast, we're from here. Cost of living's a lot cheaper. I think we're just going to move here. And so they ended up buying a house here, but they were looking for.
Did you help them buy?
I tried.
Yeah.
I tried.
So what are you using? Furnish Finders?
Furnish Finder.
Yeah.
And I do Airbnb as well.
Okay.
I have them up on both, and but I just have 30-day minimums.
Yeah,
so ideally we're looking for, 3 to 6 months. And that's usually what we get.
Yeah. The Airbnb was great while it lasted. And, that's what scares me on because they can come in and do the same thing. Like the government can come and be like, no more Airbnbs. And then you're screwed. I have a couple of my really good buddies bought a badass house in Florida, like $3 million home that they get great rental for, but government comes in and says no more Airbnb, which I don't blame. If I lived in a neighborhood of $3 million homes, I wouldn't want that house to be an Airbnb, right? So I get it. So the Airbnbs scare me a little bit. And then the guys that are house hacking that think they can go in and say, okay, I'm going to go and lease this house and then turn it into an Airbnb. You better be damn careful, because imagine you as the homeowner get that tax bill because there's no way to avoid it, because the government's taking tax. They know it's an Airbnb because they're collecting taxes. The minute Airbnb sends them the taxes, it triggers them that they know it's an Airbnb. So it's so I was listening to podcasts with these guys like, this is how you do it. I'm like, oh no, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. You house hack to do mid to long-term rentals. You know?
Yeah.
You can, you better know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just like sub twos.
Yeah.
I did one sub two, and it's not as easy as you think. And I even kept the owner on the deed, because it's like, I'm never going to create a deal that I wouldn't do. So I'm like, look, I'm going to give you XYZ money. I'll keep you on the deed. That way, if we default, you're still on the deed, so you get the property back. But what people don't realize is it triggers the insurance. Insurance is like, why is this person on the deed with you? Makes sense, because there's still a note
with our sub too.
Yeah,
but we haven't. An insurance never reached out to us.
Yeah, so it was like, why is this happening this way? Like, well, I'm like, all you have to tell them is I brought in a partner for this particular building.
Yeah.
Because they can call it due. The lien holder can say, hey, this loan is due in full. I know.
Yeah. You're always worried about that due on sale clause.
Yeah. It's a 2.5% rate. Like, that's the only reason why.
That's why we have ours. I mean, we it was too good of a deal to pass up. Yep. I mean, he was about to take an offer from like Open Door, and I was like, I'll give you a couple grand more if you deed the house to me right now. I was like, I'll write a check. I'll get a checkbook out of my truck.
So so he's off the deed?
He's off the deed.
Wow.
Yeah. He's just on the mortgage.
So how do you he just trusts that you're paying the mortgage every month? Yeah. You got to trust.
He trusts me. And we've had, I think we've had it for almost in June, it'll be 3 years.
Good for you.
Yeah. It's been great. And, we've got a house with 2.5, I think it's like a 2.75 interest rate.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
And we bought it with a ton of equity. I mean, really, we could sell it. The day we bought it, we could have probably sold it and made 50 grand.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty
That's
sweet.
awesome.
So we just
Where's it at?
South City.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like close to Carondelet Park.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nice. It's been great.
Single family?
Single family. That's one of the ones we did.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's been great.
We did it was a 3-family. It was a condo. So he had a condo association. And I'm like, dude, what in this? So we got rid of the condo association, got rid of the management company, raised the rents. I think we put it's like, what are your best case scenarios? Like, best case scenarios, I'll make $40,000. If I sell this at the price, I'm like, done. Here's $40,000. Quick claim us onto the deed. Very easy to do. You can still have access to your portal. So, go in and check to make sure we're making them. As a matter of fact, it's just auto deducted from our account every month. But what we did is we said, we'll refinance it after 3 years. So the 3 years recently came up. Like, hey, you're going to refinance. Go, the numbers don't work at this rate. You can have the building back. No, thanks. We're good.
Yeah.
So you keep our 40 grand. You can have your building back. Yeah. Nope, we're good. And we've had to put a ton of money into it. And that's another thing people don't realize.
We've had to put a ton of money into that one as well.
Yeah.
And we walked in with a lot of equity, and then, it's kind of slowly dissipated because we had to put a drain tile, sump pump system in, and we've had to do, it was just like one thing after another. Actually,
AC unit went out that's up on the roof, so we had to bring a crane in, And that's what people don't realize. Like, you might be getting a deal up front, but you better have some money stacked away, or else you're a slumlord. It's They don't really. And I tell people, like, especially on single families, buy 3, because if you only buy 1, it turns into like Grant Cardone. I like him or not, his systems are pretty spot on. And he's like, if you're making $400 a door, that's a liability. You can go stand on the corner of the highway and make $400 a month and have zero risk. He's like, so at $400 a door, he's like, that makes 0 cents in profit. Now, if you have 3, that might make a little bit more sense, but at least buy 3. I kind of like that philosophy.
Yeah, I like that. Makes sense.
But we kind of pivot into the apartment complex, which makes way more sense.
Okay. So when did you get into that?
We bought 107 units. Was it? When did the tornado hit?
Yeah, last March.
March, like the day we're signing, like the biggest investment yet. Like, we paid 10.3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we brought in actually Lindsay Whitaker. I don't know if you know who that is. Follow her. She's brilliant. She's got 900 doors.
Wow.
So she found the deal, brought us in. So we are partners with her. She self-manages it. So she manages thank God, because it's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah. A lot of doors.
But we're sitting at closing, and dude, it was a big, it was a big down payment we had to put down. And we're sitting there just kidding, like tornado signs are going off. We're like, watch this thing hit the building. We're sure shit enough.
Yeah.
Before the insurance check even cleared, the tornado hit the building.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
So,
That's
yeah.
that sucks.
You're like, are you shitting me? But the awesome thing, so it takes a little while to stabilize. She's an amazing partner. And the coolest thing about apartment complexes is this year is we got to take all the appreciation up front. So because we did a cost seg on it. So we got like a $2 million tax credit. Now it's split up 3 ways. So talk about offsetting your income.
Right.
Because you can carry it over. So really like now, like income taxes, no bullshit. I won't have to pay income taxes for a couple of years.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. So even though it's, it's right now it's probably at about a 5 cap, which isn't great, but we're still stabilizing it. But just what you're saving on income taxes, and then you're still getting appreciation from the building. Yeah. Not too bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, and I think because like right now I'm working on getting my financial advising stuff done just because I want to be able to do both and
smart
and just another avenue to talk to clients through and get them to understand the importance of this. But that's the one thing I think a lot of financial advisors miss is the whole real estate aspect of it
because they don't know it.
No.
They know stocks and bonds and that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's just such a huge play.
Hey,
now
you need to diversify.
You have to, and what happens if you sell? Well, then you 1031 exchange. Yeah. So you're just kicking the can down the road. But essentially, I don't ever want to sell. Like I want to always have real estate and pass it on to my child when I go.
Right.
So the goal is never to sell.
Yeah.
And looking back, there's so many homes right now that I flipped. We talked about flips. I'm like, damn, I should never let that house go.
Yeah.
So how many? So you still do a lot of flips, or now that you get?
I still love it. Like there's something about walking in and seeing like something totally shitty, and like making it beautiful. I have very few gifts. Like God limited my gifts, and one of my very few is I can walk in and be like, we're gonna take this wall out, do this. So when it comes to the design aspect of it, I love it. I've said this before. I'm like, some dudes are into porn. I'm into Pinterest, man. Like, I have my Pinterest board, and that's what I'll do. Like, I'll go in and design a full house on Pinterest because, like, I'll have my idea in my head, and then I have to go find it. And my contractor is amazing at like bringing my vision to life. So I'll walk through the house and just put pictures. This is what I want the kitchen to be. This is what I want the fireplace to be. This is where I want the bar. This is when I want the bathroom. And he can match it up perfectly, and we always do pretty damn good.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Like we'll usually supersede the neighborhood comp by at least 50 grand.
Oh wow.
People are like, well, how do you get to appraise out? Here's another little nugget. You use elementary school radius. So go find homes within the elementary school, and the appraiser will use that as a comp. So opposed to high school, because the high school is too big of a net. If you narrow that net down to just the elementary school and do the job for them, be like, there's none in this neighborhood. It's essentially a brand new home, right? So here you go. Here's 3 comps in the elementary school that justify the price of this home.
Yeah,
and I've never had an issue.
I'm going to use that tip right when we're done with
this. Never had an issue one time. Yep, never had an issue.
I've got a guy who's, he's wanting to list about 40 grand higher than what I'm recommending. And
as long as you can justify it, and they are. Like, dude, the plumbing's new. Like, it's got a new roof. That's a brand new freaking house. You see it happen all the time. You see new homes pop up in older neighborhoods. How do those homes comp out? Same thing. Yeah. So you just have to make sure you get a comparable comp in the elementary school. I've never had a problem.
Yeah. Okay. When I see appraisals, usually the max radius or max that they go out is about 2 miles.
2 miles. Yeah.
So as long as you're within that, you're going to be.
And sometimes the elementary school is usually about 3.5, but they'll let those slide in.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the biggest thing is being in the school
district.
Yep.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That's when you're like bordering, you're teteetering on different.
You got it.
That you can, it's like, all right, what actual school district are we in? Because I've seen that happen too on our end, where it's like somebody they'll be in one school district very close to the second, but that one that they're in isn't as good as the one that they're close to.
Right.
And they're going to go pull comps from the one that's good. I'm like, well, fortunately you can't do that.
Right. Or you're comparing a 2-story to a ranch, like that's not a comp.
Yeah, it's not a comp.
Yeah. Those are my favorite agents.
For sure.
Like, well, this agent said it's worth this. I go
look
get
at
their CMA for me. Let me see it. I'm like, well, this is not a true comp.
Right.
Ranch, 2-story. No lender is going to use these comps.
No.
Right.
Yeah, no, it was funny because we had an appraiser on. What was that? We were still.
It's pretty early on.
Yeah, that was in 2024 when we had that. I had the appraiser on, and we just posted it out there. Hey, we're having an appraiser come on the show. What questions do you have?
Awesome.
Yeah, it was a good one.
We got about 100 questions just like that.
So it's a pretty big deal now to like become certified to be an appraiser.
It's
and like
tough.
I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
Like college education, like it's a different animal now.
2,000 hours underneath.
Yeah.
Before you can, like, you got like as an apprentice, you have to get 2,000 hours of appraisal time. It's even more than that, but you have to like do it for 5 years plus the 2,000 hours and all this stuff before you can actually become a licensed.
And
appraiser.
now they're making them all go digital. So like you're going to see a lot of them are getting out of the business. So it's actually a pretty good business to get into if you're looking for job security, because there's a lot of them exiting it because they're old school.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't want to walk around with an iPad and do that. They're like, screw that. I'm out.
The whole appraisal report's changing.
Mhm.
I mean, do you think AI will have any?
Absolutely.
That's kind of where I'm thinking
absolutely.
about. Like, I don't know about job security because I'm like, man, I feel like that could be.
But you still have to have boots on the ground,
True.
right? Like, so like I always use Zillow as a great example. Remember when Zillow was buying homes and they lost $1 billion because their algorithm was off? You got to get inside, and you have to have that human aspect of getting inside the home because
seeing things, because like you can't put
there's no way you can put a price on
robot that's going to walk through the house and see,
nope.
Oh, this foundation is fucked. Oh, there's a big crack in the plumbing stack. Like there's, the roof is, on its last leg. Like all these things aren't AI is not going to be able to see.
Well, I mean, I've talked about this before on the show, but every appraisal that's ever done gets sent to Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and they have a database of every appraisal ever done since 2008 on every home in America.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they know based on appreciation, how things are selling, what homes should be selling for. And so when we get an appraisal, we have to send it to them, and then they send it back with a report, and it's called the SSR. And it comes with a score of 1 to 5, 1 being the most accurate, 5 being highly inaccurate. Anything that's 3 and above requires what's called a CDA, where it's basically a second review by this board. And then they have to, basically the appraiser has to go like tell them why he feels like it's this value. Now, all the CDAs I've ever had done have never been denied.
Okay.
So
that was my next question.
So we saw a lot of this. Like this was the first time I learned about this was in 2020. When COVID was going on, 2020, 2021, when all these homes were selling for 50, 60, 70,000 over, and we get these SSR reports that were like fives, and we're having to send it out. But as long as the appraiser is willing to back it, they're okay with it. Well, they have all these appraisals. They have everything done. So they know a value that's going to be registered as a 1. That's how we get these property inspection waivers where we don't need to have appraisals done because
you get an appraisal waiver.
Yep. Yeah. We'll put it through. We'll put the address in. We'll put it in the sales price.
We'll run how that happened.
We'll run it through Fannie and their automated underwriting system. They'll pick up that address. And if they feel that the value's there and you're putting 10% or more down, they'll come back and
they're comfortable with it.
They're good with it.
Yeah. So you can waive that appraisal contingency right off the bat if your agent calls you and says, "Hey, this is what they're going in at."
We used to be able to do that where we could go in on the back end of DU and run it through, but they
stopped it.
They shut that down real quick when they realized what we were
what
doing.
was happening.
Because as soon as we put an address in the system, it triggers an application, and we have to disclose it within 3 days.
Gotcha.
So if we were going in on the back end of DU and doing that, didn't trigger an application. And so what ended up happening is they shut that down because people were doing it too much. So we could go in and put the address in and run it through DU before they offer it. But if they don't go under contract on that house, now we have to go in and be like, well, whoops, that was a mistake. I put the address in the wrong file and having to cancel it.
Because you're not supposed to really submit until it's actually under contract.
Correct.
So you can't say they didn't get the house.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things with that
everything's changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I was wondering how that worked.
So, I mean, there is an aspect of that AI that's already in play. But I don't think, because values are always changing. Home values are always going to be going up and down, and they need like you said, the boots on the ground to be able to continue to feed that machine that they already have to generate. So
Yeah, interesting. That is, so I buy a lot of hoarder houses, and those from the outside you would never know.
Right.
And then sometimes you can, but a lot of times they look okay on the outside and you walk in. So that another great example is, you still need that personal touch of a human being to walk
Correct.
the property.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't see behind all their stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're risky to buy.
For sure.
Yeah.
I bought, me and my buddy, we bought 3 of them. I guess this was in 24, and we basically would just buy them, clean all the stuff out, hire a crew of guys to just fill dumpsters, and then I would just and we'd get them professionally clean, wholesale them. Yeah. Did 3 of those in 24, and it was awesome.
Yeah. And usually if you are, because they know they're embarrassed to have people in. So if you're in, they're usually not letting a whole lot more people in.
Right.
So you've earned that trust.
Yeah. And it's all about trust. I mean,
trust.
It's really, it goes back to what you said at the beginning. It's all about the relationship.
You got
the whole
it.
thing.
And the way I look at it, like with wholesalers, I bought from wholesalers and they wanted to like keep what they pay. I'm like, I don't give a shit what you paid for it. Like my numbers are my numbers, but my whole thing is I want to be able to sleep at night. So when I'm buying an investment property, I'm always upfront. Like you can make more money by taking this to the market. Like that's an option. And some people just don't want to. So, okay. So I'm always like this. I like to be fair and I like to be upfront. And I'm like, first and foremost, you're not getting the most by me buying this house from you. I've had one guy had a gambling issue. The hoarders don't want people through. So every situation is different. But I think as long as you're upfront and honest and build that trust, you're going to get the deal.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Wow. Well, everything that you've gone through from 2001, starting in real estate, getting out of real estate, transitioning to corporate, and then back into real estate, how has your definition of success evolved over those years?
I still don't feel successful, as an outside looking in. Maybe people say like, it looks like there is success happening, but for me, I always am trying to raise the level. And truly, I'm only as successful as the people around me. So, everybody has a different definition of success. I'm not even close to that yet. So for me, I can't tell you what success is because I'm not there yet.
Yeah. It's funny because I saw Chris Williamson post today that he had a really good quote on there from one of his last podcasts that he did. And I thought that it was kind of right in line with what you were saying. What's up? That's it. The higher you climb, the further you have to fall. And this is a quote from Michael Smoke. I have a hard time celebrating my achievements because in my mind, it was my obligation to achieve it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
The bar keeps getting raised, right?
Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah.
There's never a finish line. You're never just going to get one day.
Yeah.
And, like you can just sit back and relax.
Yeah.
Like
and it's always like the chase is always fun. And like, the one thing that doesn't wear off is watching other people. Like that's one thing I've learned, like watching other people win. That doesn't wear off, dude. The cars and the watches and that shit wears off real quickly. But watching somebody else win and succeed, like that's truly, it sounds corny as shit, but it's really the most fulfilling thing that's out there.
Yeah.
Is watching somebody going from making $50,000 a year to $200,000 a year and watching their life change, or, living in the rat race to having, all of a sudden they have, 3, 5, 7 investment properties and they're starting to really get
Change their life.
Changes their life.
Yeah.
And to me, that's success.
Yeah.
My goal is, I journal every day, health, wealth, career, relationship. It's on my power list. It's an Andy Frisella thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's non-negotiable. And it's one of my very first things is I script every day. And my ultimate goal is I can't wait to donate $1 million to whatever charity God guides me to. So when the day comes and I can donate $1 million, and I know God's going to say, this is charity that you want to give it to. But it takes a lot of money to be able to donate $1 million. So that's my ultimate goal.
Well, that's a great goal.
And I think once I hit that, I'll maybe start to feel successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you're going to have a new goal.
Then you have a new goal.
Yeah.
It will
What's the
be,
next
you
one?
got it. Yeah.
You're not just going to sit there and kick back
Hell
and relax.
no.
You're just gonna
What
be
are you going to do?
All right, I did that.
What's next?
I guess I got to do $2 million.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Whatever the bar is.
Yeah. You're going to do something else. There's going to be another rung of the ladder that you got to climb.
Wherever God leads me to. So that's kind of where I'll go.
Absolutely.
Well, one thing we, kind of always like to bring up on the show is, fatherhood. So, you're a dad. How is becoming a father changed, your role as a leader, as a business owner,
So,
or just as a man in general?
she's my stepdaughter.
Okay.
I've been with her since she was 3. I say that her and my wife was the best package deal ever. I've been with her for 20 years. And, I wasn't the best. Like when Lynn, my wife, we started dating, I was not the best person. I didn't have God in my life. I was kind of a playboy. For whatever reason, she stuck with me. And I'll never forget. So Madeline was 2 when Lynn and I met, and she didn't let me actually meet Madeline until she was 3 at her third birthday party. And I was just drawn to this little girl. Like that 3-year-old, that's my fit. Like just a great age. Yeah. Like just holding her. She's just this cute little thing. And for about a year and a half, Lynn and I were, she just put up with me for whatever reason. She put up with my lifestyle. I was out partying. Friday night was guys' night, non-negotiable. I would show up at her place drunk, and God love her, she stuck with me. And then finally she said, enough is enough. And we broke up. And we broke up for about 6 months, and I was miserable. And I was like, I gotta have this girl back. So I'll never forget. I went back to her condo, and it was like 11 o'clock at night. She's like, you gotta be quiet. Madeline is asleep. So we're sitting on the couch talking, and Madeline came out, and she's like rubbing her eyes, and she looked at me and she goes, where have you been? Like, oh, dude. Oh, I was like, yeah. Okay, I'll never let this happen again. Yeah. So that moment changed my whole trajectory on, okay, I didn't really view myself as a father figure until right then and there. So right then and there, it was no longer about me, right? It was no longer about Lynn. It was about these 2 girls. And okay, now I have to be a provider for these 2 girls. And I wanted Madeline to see what, and her dad's still in the picture, and her and our dad actually have a great relationship. That's awesome. Yeah. Like we would do holidays together. Yeah. She thinks it's normal, which is, I grew up and my parents hated each other. They divorced, completely hated each other. And I remember as a kid thinking, if this is ever me, I will never, ever let this happen. Yeah. It's crazy how God works, right? So I wanted her to know that we could co-parent together. We could get along, and there's no perfect, but the only people that suffer when you're fighting is the kids. And I never wanted her to see that there's division between us, because there really wasn't, because we made it that way. We sat down, and I think her dad, I have to give him more credit than myself, because it takes a true man to let another man into your kid's life and let him be a parent, right?
Sure.
And if
that's not easy.
Not easy. So I give him credit, because he let that happen. And if you ask him today, like Madeline will get married, and we've already had this talk, and Mike's like, we are walking her down the aisle. Like, so it's not an option. So being a parent is different than traditional. For me, here's a baby. So like mine came out at 3.
Yeah.
And I watched her grow. But all of a sudden, like it took me a couple years to mature and be like, okay, this is no longer about me. It's about, it's not just about providing a good life and nice things, but I want it to be a good model. And then really fast forward until about 4 or 5 years ago, I want her to see that God is in my life. And this is an important aspect. So I wish I could turn back time and say, brought God into her life sooner. But, I go to a men's group every Thursday, and we have a Bible group study. And somebody was talking about his daughter, who's like 18. He's like, trying to preach and bring God. I go, you know what? Imagine if you're 18 and somebody was preaching God to you, right. You tell them to go F off. Right. So I think, said God will enter her life when the time is right. And at 18, it's just really hard, So my goal is now just to put those little nuggets out there. Yeah. Every day I just try to plant a little nugget and say, look, there's more to it than work and shit stuff. Like we have a purpose here, and it's to spread God's word and truly know he died on the cross for us. So I just keep planting those little nuggets, and eventually they'll stick.
Yeah.
And hopefully,
it's kind of one of those unteachable lessons.
You got it.
You kind of have to learn it for yourself, or want it, and you have to want it.
You want to.
You have to want it.
And that's really hard as a kid. I grew up Catholic, and you just go through the motion. So it takes a while to get to a certain maturity. But I think as parents, we could plant those little nuggets. So that was a long ass answer to
awesome.
your question.
That's awesome.
But my role was completely non-traditional, right? And I get teary-eyed because I remember her walking out of the room so vividly. Where have you been? Like, just looked at me and like, where have you been? Like, so disappointed. Yeah. And I just melted. I'm like, I'll never leave you again. Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. She's, so it's awesome. I have the two best girls in my life. And then ironically, I found out Len and I tried having kids. So when I was 20 years old, I started losing my hair. All right. So somebody introduced me to Propecia 20 years ago. Still have my hair, but I found out Propecia kills your sperm. So I found out I could not have kids because of the medicine I was on for so long.
Wow.
So thank God I was able to have
you have her.
Her. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. A complete blessing.
Well, kudos to you and her dad. I've got a similar situation. So, divorce is tough on kids.
Divorce is very tough.
But my ex-wife and I have a better relationship now than we did when we were married. And the guy that she's dating is an incredible father to those kids. When I'm engaged to, yeah. I can't say they're dating anymore. Yeah. They're engaged.
Awesome.
But yeah, no, it's same thing. Kind of like that. I was just having that thought the other day, like you said about walking the kids down the aisle. Now I got two boys, so clearly we're not going to be walking them down the aisle, but the fathers of the grooms give the speeches at the thing. And I was like, yeah, he's for sure going to have that. He's going to be giving a speech up there with me.
It takes a big man to make that call like you were doing. And that's why I give Mike credit. And we just, Madeline's getting to the age, her friends are getting married. And, we were just at the first wedding and Mike was there and we were both like, man, I was more excited to see you, each other and hang out than, the wedding. It's just, we became boys.
Yeah, awesome.
And the best thing is Madeline has she thinks it's normal. She knows now, because, but back then she thought it was the most normal thing ever.
Dads.
Yeah. Like, Christmas morning, we're celebrating together and birthdays, we celebrate together. She just thought it was normal. And because I've seen firsthand how it can destroy kids. And I'm like, you just don't let it happen. Like kids cannot have too much love in their life. There's no such thing. So the more love they have, the better off they're going to be.
Right.
Don't give them hate. Don't show them hate. No. That's the worst thing you can do. Show them love, pour love into them. The more people that pour love into them, the more loving they're going to become.
Yeah. I mean, it's not their fault that we got divorced.
No.
Like, it's not their fault, at all. And I think the greatest compliment that we've been given is by their teachers. And they're like, we'd never know that you guys were divorced.
That's awesome.
So that's
how it should be.
Yeah.
Didn't work out for you guys. No, who cares?
Right.
Yeah.
We weren't meant to be together. We were meant to make two really cool kids.
You got two beautiful human beings from it. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's good for you.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate that most situations
90% are the exact opposite. I have family, I have friends, I see it go through and I'm like, guys, man,
put your egos aside.
Who's suffering the most here? Not you. Yeah. Your kids are. Yeah. You think they don't realize the bullshit? Like it's sickening. But
no, it drives me nuts when I hear it. I mean, obviously there's certain situations where there's abuse and things like that are involved that make it difficult. But I mean, ultimately, if it's one of those things where, you just weren't meant to be together, put the fucking egos aside.
People know how to do that, unfortunately. Yeah.
It's just, it's insane to me. Like I see these and, these relationships end, even if there's cheating involved, like
you can forget and maybe you not forgive, but you shouldn't do that. But regardless, you don't let the kids know, because they are the ones who suffer the most.
Right. But kids will never know why we got divorced.
They don't need to.
They don't need to.
They
just need to know that we have a good relationship. And I mean, shit, we go on vacations together. We'll go to Florida.
Yeah, same. We'd do the same. Ironic. And I didn't even know this. Just happened to come up in conversation. Somebody asked Lynn just recently, has Madeline ever asked why you and her dad got divorced. And I didn't even know this conversation like that she asked. And she said, actually, she did like 4 years ago. Like, interesting. What did you tell her? Because I know the real story.
Yeah.
And she said it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
It just, and just kind of left it at that.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay.
Yeah,
Well, you don't have to go too deep.
Right.
She just said it just didn't work out. We weren't meant to be together. Okay.
All it needs to be.
That's all it has to be. Like, why paint anybody as a bad person?
Yeah. And that's
People do change.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, biologically, our bodies regenerate every 8 years. Like, we are a new person.
That is
like
very
every
true.
8 years.
That is very true.
And so, yeah, I mean, there's times where people drift apart, and it happens.
It does happen.
And that's the thing is, like, my kids will ask, like, well, it was funny because like my 7-year-old is like, well, why? They're like, why can't you just live with us? Like, they just finished the basement. Why can't you just live in the basement? I'm like, buddy, that's not how this works.
That's funny. You gotta love that he's
like,
so naive to think that's normal, though.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and
There's a room down there.
Yeah,
Throw a
just
bed
be down there. Come on down.
Just live there. And I was like, buddy, that's not how that works. Unfortunately, like, and I was like, and like you still remember like what it was like. You were old enough to remember what it was like with Mom and I living together. And I was like, was it good? He goes, no, you guys fought a lot.
There you go.
And that's the thing is like, we didn't think they heard that.
Of course they heard.
We thought we kept it away from him, but it was like, he heard it. Now my other one was too young to really recognize what was going on, but my oldest was aware of everything. And I was like, buddy, like, yeah, your mom and I get along great, but that's because we're not seeing each other every day.
That's right.
Like, I was like, you see how it goes when we're on vacation. If we're in the same space for more than like 4 or 5 days together, shit hits the fan.
That's funny.
I was like, so if I move in, I'm there all the time. And then you could potentially see that again. And we don't want you to see that. And then like, what about Dalton? You think Dalton's going to want me living there? Like, no.
Dalton's the stepdad. Soon to be step. Now, do you have a girlfriend or wife? Or
I'm dating right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So
how's that going?
Oh God, man.
How old are you?
I'll be 38 here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah. It's so
I don't envy you.
No,
yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not. It hasn't been fun.
I'm sure.
No.
Yeah. It's
I'm
tough.
sure.
Yeah. It's.
Well, back in the day,
yeah, for sure.
so I'm almost 50, so I can talk about back in the day.
Jesus, dude, I hope I look the way you do.
I appreciate it. There was no apps, and there, you had to actually go out to the bar and earn it.
Yeah.
It's that's the thing is, I've never, well, I shouldn't say I've never been on apps. As soon like again, this is how amicable the divorce was. We separated, and like I was like, oh, I guess I got to get on the apps now. My ex-wife was like, well, let me help you.
Oh my God.
That's
I was like,
no.
I was like, no, we're not gonna do that.
So how do you, if you're not using the apps or the dating websites?
Instagram.
Okay.
It's been crazy.
So you drop in their DMs?
No. It was like, I'll post something and then they'll.
No kidding.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, but I mean, that was for a long time. Yeah. I just get a lot of messages on social media. I guess a lot of it's been with the podcast.
Being in the spotlight.
We're talking, I mean, we get pretty emotional on here and vulnerable,
shows
which is
vulnerability.
Yeah. And so
people like real,
right,
and
exactly.
they can read through bullshit. Like I always tell people, like me or hate me, you're always going to get me. And I don't sugarcoat anything.
Yeah. Same. And so, there's been a lot of times where we'll have a video that's been posted. I'll share it to my story. And the next thing you know, I'll get a handful of comments.
Okay.
And then it'll just kind of turn into conversations like, oh, let's go grab drinks or let's grab dinner or things like that. And yeah, I mean, it's.
So do you want more kids?
No.
Okay. So that's probably a little bit of a hurdle.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing is like, I dated somebody for a few months and she was wanting to have kids. And I told her, I was like, I'm done.
I like your honesty.
I was like, I'm not going to I enjoy spending time with you and dating you. But if you're wanting to have kids, I've got 2. I don't want any more. I don't want to have any more.
It takes a man to admit that.
I'll date somebody that has kids.
Sure.
But I don't want to produce or create any more children. And I told her that, and we ended up breaking up, and then ended up getting back together like a month later because she was just like, oh, I was talking with my therapist, and it was one of those things where she was just like, my therapist said I shouldn't be making this overarching decision on whether or not I should or shouldn't have kids. I need to determine if you're worth not having kids for. So I was like, okay, that's fair. Let's give it a shot. But that was always an underlying thing. And I could tell that she was never going to give that up. And I was just like, this is like, I'm not keeping you from that.
So is therapy a red flag for you? Someone says they're good.
I go to therapy.
Same. I love my therapist.
Same. Every 2 weeks.
Nothing wrong with everybody should. Like, I think everybody should go.
Just had a great hour-long hang on Monday with her. You know?
I'll call mine every once in a while. She'll talk me off the ledge.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But like, hey, I'll just like, if something like, because I mean, obviously I have a really good relationship with my ex-wife, but there are times where things come up.
We're human.
Right.
Yes.
Where things come up and I'll shoot him a text like, hey, am I overreacting to this
I do
right
the
now?
same.
Like,
look at this text message. She'd be like, call me.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, am I
don't respond yet.
Right. Yeah. Tell me you didn't respond. I did.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, therapy's changed my life.
Yep. Same.
It's been, and I recommend to everyone.
So do I.
No matter where you're at in your life, what you're going through.
Absolutely agree. I have the most beautiful relation, and I really have an incredible relationship with my wife and my daughter and my parent, and it's still good just to go talk, like just somebody who's very mutual, like they're, you know, like it's just the best thing ever. Yeah. So,
and if there's really a heated discussion or something that needs to be had with my ex-wife, we'll go in together.
I love that.
And he'll be the mediator.
Yeah, I love that. Smart.
Yep. So, you know, it's definitely, I think that's probably been the biggest reason we've been able to have the relationship that we have now, because we weren't doing that.
Very mature of you.
We weren't doing that when we were married.
Yeah.
So it took us getting divorced to get to that point. But it was also,
everything happens for a reason.
It was also a way for us both to admit, like, hey, we were never in love with each other.
Yeah. Wow.
Like we shouldn't have, I mean, I shouldn't say we shouldn't have gotten married, because we wouldn't have our second. But ultimately, looking back, like, we probably shouldn't have gotten married.
Been there, done that. I was married at 22 the first time. Yeah, like we were kids, you know, looking back, like, what the hell were we thinking, you know? But no regrets, only lessons. So, you know, all good.
Yeah.
That's life.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
Well, Kyle, this has been great.
Yeah, we've been all over the place, haven't we? Jeez.
Yeah, that's kind of what we do in here.
I love
we'll
it.
touch on a little business, little personal stuff. We kind of just get your whole story. So
appreciate
really
you guys having
this,
me.
man.
Yeah,
it's great.
Thank you guys.
But we do end the show the same way every time. So before we get you out of here,
we play a little game called the Tombstone Game.
Okay.
Here lies Kyle. What's it say on your tombstone?
The Forever Optimist.
Ooh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's good.
Perfect.
I like that. Awesome. Well, thanks, Kyle.
I appreciate it.
Thanks to everybody at home that watched or listened to this episode. If you could hit that subscribe button for us, that would help us out a ton. Share this episode with a friend. Comment what you thought below, and we will see you next time.